This week we're going to read about the flood. You all know the story. God saw that mankind wasn't doing what it's supposed to do, and God said He's going to send a flood to destroy all of mankind. And then He told Noach to save himself and his family. And how to do that? God said to build a boat, build an ark, and to take into the ark him and his wife and all of us and all the animals. And sure enough, Noach and his family and the animals are saved, and here we are. That's the story we read this week. But we know everything in Torah is not just a story. Everything in Torah is a lesson in our lives. And this story is not just the story of Noach, but it's our story. As the Zohar says, Zeh Sefer Toldos Adam, this is the book of the Chronicles of Man. The Zohar says the whole Torah is your story. There's a Noach in you, there's an Avram in you, there's a Sarah in you. And this is very relevant to this time of year, because after we finish the holiday season, we get thrown back into all of the financial concerns and other kinds of things that could possibly disturb us. Could be like a flood that doesn't let us be the way we're meant to be. As the Torah says, the flood destroyed all the Yakum, all civilization, so too various financial concerns and other concerns, they are the flood that could take away a person's Torah, his prayer, his goodness. It can make a person not function what he's meant to be. So this is the flood that we contend with at this time. Rabbi Shachat of the yeshiva, he said that he never understood this. It says in the Torah that the purpose of the manna bread coming down for 40 years in the desert was in order to instill in the Jewish people this sense of reliance on Hashem. And one of the reasons why this bread is called bread that afflicts you is because although you had bread for today, you didn't have bread for tomorrow. It just fell for one day. So the question is, why is that a problem? Why does that afflict you? If it happened once that bread came from heaven, okay, so then you wouldn't know if it would come the next day. But every single day you see the bread coming down from heaven, so why would you be disturbed just because you don't have enough for tomorrow? You know it's going to come down tomorrow. You see it happens every single day. And on Friday there's double. You know it. You know how the system works. Why would that afflict you? Why does the Torah say this bread is Vayancha Vayevecha, God caused you to be hungry by feeding you this bread? So he said he didn't understand this until he had to raise money to support the yeshiva. Then he understood why there's such a sense of affliction. He says even though he has no idea how the yeshiva survived until now, and every single time Hashem helps, every single situation which is impossible, suddenly Hashem helps, and yet he's still afflicted about tomorrow and the next day, and how is it going to work? And it's impossible. So so we all can relate to this idea of the flood, the waters. So the Torah says that these waters are called the waters of the Zohar describes waters of Noach, waters of tranquility. The reason they're called waters of tranquility, even though it seems like anything but tranquility, is because these challenges that Hashem sends to us actually serve to purify us. It's these challenges that make us more refined and make us feel more reliant on Hashem. But at the same time, while we're going through these turbulent waters of concerns and finances, etc., the Torah tells us how to protect ourselves, and so we shouldn't get destroyed, so we shouldn't ruin our lives, chas just because of these issues. So what's the advice Torah gives? As Baal Shem Tov famously said, you need to go into the ark. What does that mean? The ark means the words of Torah and the words of prayer. The word in Hebrew is teva. Teva is also the word the name of the ark. The ark is called a teva. So what do you do when you experience in your life the torrential waters of concerns? You need to go into the ark of Torah and prayer. Why does that work? Why does it help? And how do you do it? So let's first understand a little bit more about the flood. There weren't just waters that came from heaven. The waters that came from the earth as well. It says, the windows of heaven opened up. It says also, Tehim Rabbah. It says there was a lot of water coming from the earth. There was water from the heaven, water from the earth. Taking that over to ourselves, there are different kinds of concerns. There are concerns you could have because of your own personal needs from the earth, earthy things that just concern you. And then there is Arupas Hashemayim. You're concerned about your synagogue. You're concerned about you are a public servant. You're there to help the community. You're making a school. You're making a shul. You're making a library. It sounds familiar. So you have all these things that all these things are rained down on your head, and you don't know how to contend with them in a way that you'll be protected. So the Torah's advice is, the Baal Shem Tov says, go into, don't just say words of Torah, don't just say words of prayer, enter them. And as the Gemara says, going inside the words of Torah doesn't just mean to go in partially, but to go in fully. And how does this help? So the idea of davening is that you realize, not just you're saying the words of davening, but that you are totally into it. You're into it in a way that you realize the true reality is Hashem. That's what davening is. Davening is about putting you in touch with something, with reality, with the reality of Hashem, connecting yourself with the true reality. The Rebbe Rashab, a chassid, whose business was in boots, and the Rebbe Rashab said, I've seen people wear boots on their feet, but it's not such a good idea to put your head into the boots. Obviously, this guy wasn't doing well, and he was didn't have the advice of the Baal Shem Tov. He wasn't taking to heart this idea of going into the ark, going into the words of prayer. Compare this chassid who was putting his head into the boots to Rabbi Bezalel. Rabbi Bezalel, the Zohar says, when he would eat, he would have the food on the table, and while the food was on the table, you know what he would do? He would say, Hashem, please give me food. Why is he asking for food? The food's on the table. But the Rabbi Yossi said, until I get it from Beis Malka, until I get it from Hashem, it's not here. Every single moment, as Baal Shem Tov says, Hashem is recreating the world out of nothing. Every single thing in the world is not naturally here. It's only here because God makes it here, because the world is created out of absolute nothingness. And there's nothing that keeps the world here except for Hashem's words. So although Hashem created the world a moment ago, if the Hashem wouldn't recreate the world again, the world would stop to exist. If the world were to be something from something, like a table created from wood, so once the table is formed, so the table could stand. Because the world's created from absolute nothingness, it's a godly energy, the spiritual energy of Hashem that puts the world into existence. Therefore, says Baal Shem Tov, forever, Hashem, your word has to be in the heaven to keep the heaven to exist. And if for a moment the words would disappear, the words would go back to their source, Hashem would not say, let there be a sky, then there would be no sky. So therefore, Rabbi Yossi, he would daven when the food was on the table. How is he going to eat without Hashem giving to him right now? So that's what going into davening means. Going into davening means that you're experiencing the truth of Hashem in a real way, and that you realize all there is Him. That's davening. Then there is the second instruction of Baal Shem Tov: go into the words of prayer. Not just to say the words of prayer, the words of Torah. Yeah. What's the Torah? Thank you, Venmo. What's Torah? So it says about the Torah. Hashem says about the Torah, Anochi. The first word Hashem used when He gave us the Torah was, I am the Lord your God. The word Anochi is an acronym for the words, Ano nafshi ksav v'sihavas. I, my soul, I wrote it and I gave it. Hashem put His whole soul in Torah. So when we're learning Torah, we're not just learning Torah, we are connecting with Hashem Himself. As we say every day in davening, 3 times a day, Ki ba'er panacha nasata lanu Hashem Elokeinu. With the light of your face, you have given us, Hashem our God, Teres Chaim, the Torah of life. So what? You've given us Torah. Why is it you've given us Hashem our God? With the light of your face, you have given us Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem our God, the Teres Chaim. Why does it add those words again? We know who we're talking to. The answer is that when Hashem gives us the Torah, in the Torah is giving us Himself. When you learn Torah, you're not just learning information. You're connecting yourself with Hashem Himself. So it says in the Mishnah Pirkei Avos, we learned a few weeks ago, it says, who is wise? He who could see the outcome. Who is wise? He who could see the result. Everyone knows the result, but the wise man is someone who could picture right now what's going to happen in 5 minutes as a result of his actions. Therefore, he makes decisions based on the outcome. So spiritually, the Alter Rebbe says, what is the meaning of seeing the outcome? It means seeing how Hashem is creating the world out of nothingness, seeing how Hashem is making the world, seeing the outcome, seeing the birth of creation. That's the wise man, the one who realizes the emes. So if we were to daven in that way, so then after we finish davening, we wouldn't be flustered by the various things that come our way, because we will know what they're meant for. We will know, why are we involved in the world? Why do we have to get involved? Because Hashem tells us to. The Mishnah says, I was not created for any other reason but to serve Hashem. And Hashem wants me to serve Him not just in the shul with Torah and prayer, but also outside the shul. So by the davening gives the Jew the sense, even after davening, that what he's doing, why he's doing, it's all part of the service of Hashem, and it's all with Hashem. He's not going by himself. He's going. The davening gives you the sense of Eino Milvado, nothing besides Hashem, and that allows you to make the right decisions. You don't get overwhelmed by the material things you're involved in. And you need Torah as well, because Torah again is not just. It's not only that when you learn Torah, it's connecting to Hashem, because Torah is Hashem. All the Torah is Hashem. Torah is the one with the giver of Torah. Torah is godly, but not just that. When you learn Torah, you learn the instruction of Hashem in the world. You learn what does Hashem want you to do, and because you're focused on what Hashem wants and you're focused on Hashem, so that those moments of Torah and prayer, they inspire the rest of the day, so that you're in the boat. And so, although the water comes, you're not drowned by the water. Contrary, as the Alter Rebbe says, the water lifts the boat. It's actually the opposite. Instead of the water sinking your boat, because you are engaged in all these things, that it makes your prayer and your Torah study more meaningful. You really cherish the time you have to learn and daven as a result of being involved in material. In the material. Material makes you cherish. Absence makes the heart go fun. It makes you love your davening, love your Torah more. So that's how the symbiotic relationship how it's meant to be, between Torah and prayer and our engagement with the world. That our Torah and prayer are meant to be the boat that protects us. The Torah adds something here. Torah says, Noach, Hashem tells him, don't just go in the boat yourself, you should also go in with your wife, also go in with your family. The Rebbe Cashapp said, just like it's a mitzvah to put on tefillin every day, so too it's a mitzvah to think about the education of your family and see if they're going in the way that they're meant to go. You're supposed to spend time every day. The Rebbe Cashapp compares the mitzvah of tefillin to this thought process, because when you put on tefillin, you're supposed to dedicate your heart and mind to Hashem. And so too, the way you think about your family is supposed to be in a way that your heart and mind is involved. And not just like, oh, I have to do something, let me check off another thing I'm supposed to do today, so to think about my family. Rabbi Baruch Tuchman was here a little while ago, and he said that his great-grandfather writes in Shema Izim that when you say the words, Elokei Olam, God of the world, with your great mercy, have mercy on us. When you say those words, you're supposed to think about your family. So, once you can't forget this, because once you start, you think about your family in a way you care, so it just stays with you. You will not forget. I've just altered the course of your davening for the rest of your life. Elokei Olam, God of the world, you have to think about your family. So that's a mitzvah of thinking about of educating your family every day. It's not just to think about it in a passing way, but you can put on tefillin to dedicate your heart and mind. And just like the Torah says this is true regarding your own family, the word wife in Kabbalah and Chassidus refers to those who receive from you, those who learn from you. So, and the Mishnah says, you have to have as many students as you can. If you only have 1,000 students, and you could have 1,001, that's not called harbe. Because have many students, as many as you can. So if you see a Jew does not have a set time to study Torah, Jew is not keeping, let's say, as a set time for studying Torah at 11 o'clock, and it's not happening. So you have to reach out to them and say, hey, get on the boat. Get on the boat. And this activity of reaching out to other people and inspiring them to get in the boat is something that's critical for our own protection in the boat. The Gemara says, if God will not help us, we will not be able to overcome the challenges that He gives us without God's assistance. How do you get God's assistance? So the Torah says, "Vayiskar Hashem ba'adei." When Noach went in the boat, although he worked on the boat for 100 years or more, but what happened is God had to seal it. Without God sealing the boat, it wouldn't work. That means with all of the effort a human being makes, he needs God's assistance. And the way to receive God's assistance is by helping others. As the Gemara says, on the Ashiv Rosh Nifkashu Meir Ein Shneim Avaya. When a poor man and a rich man meet, God causes the light of their eyes to shine. God illuminates the light of their eyes. That means that more, as the Gemara says, the rich man does for the poor man does for the rich man. This is true spiritually. You help another person out spiritually, so then you are being helped more. So in order to successfully go on the boat, the way it works is by helping others. Everyone got on the boat as well. And there's one more point. Torah doesn't just say to put your family on the boat. Torah says put the animals in the boat. Whatever happens in the world that you know about that's going to get destroyed, we have a responsibility to put this on the boat, to save and elevate whatever we can to godliness. If you think that what you know about has no connection to you, it's the opposite of divine providence. Since Hashem guided your life, that you know about something, this thing exists, and you know that without your effort it's going to get destroyed, you know that without you doing something it's going to get lost, there's certain that there's something that it's the reason Hashem brought that into your life is because you could do something. So what happens then? Torah says, Boil Teva, go into the ark. On the surface, it's just talking about the shape of the boat. It has to be an amma, has to be on top, an amma, a 2 feet, a sort of a pointy top. So the word amma is an acronym for the words Elokeinu Melech Haolam, our God, the King of the world. So by going into the words of Torah, by cherishing the words of Torah and going into them, this causes that you feel Elokeinu Melech Haolam, you feel God assisting you. And how do you feel God assisting you? That not only does God give you the blessing, but as the Baal Shem Tov says, He gives you the vessel to receive the blessing. It's not only that God gives you His blessing, we have to figure out how to receive it in this world. Okay, God gives me a blessing, but I need to find the means to receive it. But by entering the words of Torah, entering the words of prayer, that causes, and by helping others to get on the boat as well, that causes that the Eibishter blesses your material things in your life in a way that not only you have the blessing of Hashem, but He guides you to find the right way to receive His blessing, until we reach the point where Eskashti Nasati Bahana. God says, I'll put my rainbow in the cloud. The Gemara says that the word Kashti, which means a rainbow, also means something connected to me. That means that the Gemara is alluding to how the coming of Mashiach, that the world becomes a home for Hashem. The rainbow represents the revelation of godliness that will happen, Mashiach will come, and the preparation for the coming of Mashiach is to feel how Hashem's assistance, that Hashem is our God, the King of the world. We feel divine assistance in our lives. So, there's a way to do it. By the way, this teaching we just shared, the Rebbe quotes here, the previous Rebbe shared this with the Rebbe once, and the Rebbe quoted this teaching. This teaching is like a diamond. This teaching is a diamond. It's a special teaching. That by going into the words of Torah and prayer, the previous Rebbe could describe it as a teaching from Gan Eden, teaching that comes from heaven, teaching that he received from the lower level of Gan Eden. I guess we're not privy to the upper levels. Either way, so this teaching is a very, very powerful idea. Elokeinu melech haolam, that by going to the words of Torah and prayer and helping others, you see divine assistance, and you're able to make the material in your life to be a vessel for godliness until we'll see it happen when Mashiach comes. It'll be overtly clear to us the Hashem's presence and everything. Any questions or comments?